Here is a comprehensive question for GCSE cumulative frequency graphs, box plots, and comparing distributions, most likely with box plots. So let's take a look. We've got the table shows information about the times taken in minutes for 80 students from school A travel to school. So you've got the time being between 0 and 10 was 4 students, between 10 and 20 is 10 students, etc., etc. On the axes over here, draw a cumulative frequency diagram. Cumulative frequency, we've been practicing this already. We've add a new column and we're going to call it CF, the running total. So you copy and paste this, 4. It's saying up to the 4th person is 10 minutes. So we're lining up all the students and we're saying who took the least amount of time to get to school and who took the most time to get to school. We're saying the 4th student in that list, or up to the first 4 pupils, it took up to 10 minutes, okay? Then we're gonna add 10, the next 10 pupils, 14th. So up to the 14th pupil, it took up to 20 minutes. Then we add 22, which is 36. Do I trust myself? I do, mate. Plus 26, keep doing this running total. We have 62, 62nd, then we add 12, 74, 74th. Then we add 6, we get the 80th pupil, okay? So up to the 4th student took 10 minutes, up to the 14th, 20 minutes, etc. And we can plot this. So here we have the times and we have the cumulative frequency. Now, obviously here, guys, I'm gonna try my best because this is not a grid like they give you at GCSE. So up to the 4th person was 10. So up to 10 minutes, is 4 people. So here, time 10, we're gonna do 4 people. I'm gonna put a point there. Up to 20 was 14 people. So up to 20, 14 people. Up to 30, 36 people. Up to 30, 36. So maybe about there. Up to 40, 62. Up to 40, 62. Up to 50, 74. Up to 50, 74. Maybe about there. And then up to 60 is 80. Up to 60 is 80. Now there's another point we want to plot here, is up to 0 is no students. No students took 0 minutes. Now, students ask me this all the time. Should we draw a curve or should we use straight lines? My recommendation to you guys is to avoid any mistakes, just use straight lines. If you've seen in previous videos, we use linear interpolation to estimate the median and quartiles. It's because a cumulative frequency diagram, we can absolutely use straight lines, which is linear. If you draw a curve, you might mess it up. Now here you're gonna have to use a ruler. Now I'm gonna do my best. Is looking like this, looking beautiful, mate. There we go. That is my cumulative frequency diagram. Use your diagram to estimate the median. Now with all of this stuff, guys, you need to use a ruler, okay? Me, I'm freestyling it. The median. The median is the middle value. There's 80 students, we're looking for the 40th value. So here's my cumulative frequency, we're looking for the 40th person. So you're gonna go across, and then you're gonna come down, okay? I'm gonna say, the 40th person really should be between 30 and 40 for me. It should really, because obviously I'm not drawing it exactly, guys, because I'm, what is it? I'm freestyling it on the diagram. Maybe about 32, I'm gonna say. 32 mins, okay? Then I'm going to do the lower and upper quartile. So if the 40th number is the middle, I half that again to divide by 4. That's my Q1. So my Q1, maybe like 21 or something like that. 22, 23, 22, I think. So my lower quartile, I'm going to say is 22 mins. And my upper quartile, I just times that by 3 to get the 60th value. Okay, the main part of this, guys, I'm showing you how to do this stuff. Okay, your diagram should be much neater than mine. That's probably about 43 maybe. All right. The next part says, how many students took more than 45 minutes? So here we're going to read up from 45, which is maybe here. So there's the minutes, right? So now we're going to go up with our ruler and we're going to find that value. Then we're going to go across. Now that's about 68, okay? So this here is about 68. Now what that means is up to 45 students, so remember we line them all up in order from lowest to highest, up to 45 minutes was 68 pupils. So 68 pupils took up to 45 minutes to travel to school, but I wanted more than 45 minutes, more than 45 minutes. So I'm looking at more than 68, okay? Well, there was 80 total students. We're looking at more than 68, so the difference is 12 students. Okay. There we go. Right. You are told that the lowest time for school A was 3 minutes, so somewhere down here, and the longest was 58 minutes. Draw a box plot for school A. So for that, I'm just going to do it in a different color. Now, again, you guys would have like a kind of grid here, so you would be able to plot it nicely. But for part B, I'm just going to draw a generic box plot. Okay, box plots look like this. Some people call them whisker plots because you have the cat head and you have its whiskers over here. Now here we have the first bar. The first bar represents the minimum value, which for us would be 3, so you'd plot that 3. This next bar is Q1, then we have the median and Q3, and then that's the maximum. The maximum was 58, so you'd plot that 58. You guys just have to be very careful to read the x-axis properly. Now my Q1 was 22, and my Q3 was 43, and my median was 32. Okay, so that's how you would answer that one, nice and simple. But then it says, a box plot is provided for the times taken by students in school B. Compare the distributions. So how do we compare distributions for box plots? It's actually very simple. You only need to comment on 2 things. These are always two marks in a GCSE exam. The first thing you need to do is compare the medians. Why do we compare the medians? We compare the medians because that's an average, okay? Now we can see that 38 is bigger than 32, which means on average, school B students took longer, okay? So the first thing we're going to say is that school B has a higher median time, which is, I like to say 38 versus 32 versus 32, which means their pupils, their students or pupils take longer to travel to school on average. And you need to say average here. So school B has a higher median, 38 versus 32, which means their pupils take longer to travel to school on average. The next thing we do is we talk about the interquartile range. You could talk about the range, but it's not as I don't know, it's not as good because these are obviously very extreme values. So these extreme values can distort the distribution, or it can distort the range. Interquartile range gets rid of those extreme values. So here, my interquartile range for school B, yeah, Q3 minus Q1 is 20. Here, it's 43 minus 22. 43 minus 22. 21. So it's very close. 21. Okay? So, we could say, however, school A has a higher interquartile range, which means their values are more spread out. They vary more. Okay? So we can say school A have a higher interquartile range, IQR. So we could say 21 versus 20, which means which means their times are more spread out, slash more varied, however you guys want to say that, varied. And that's that. That's how we get our 2 marks for these 2 points. And that, guys, is how we solve these kind of GCSE problems. Make sure you like the video, subscribe for more maths content, favorite this video, send it to a mate if you feel like you'll benefit them in it. Nice.